Hi, I'm Randy Maps from UXStars.com, and today I'm going to talk with you about the sign up process for a tool called Survey Gizmo. Survey Gizmo comes highly recommended to me for its advanced survey capabilities, and I thought it would be interesting to share a few of the things that I observed when going through the trial setup process. All right, so first things first, have you noticed on the right side of the screen the animation that will keep looping for infinity? I'm not really sure what I'm supposed to get out of that animation, but it feels a bit like a missed opportunity where they could be showing something that would convince me to buy their product. It also just gets annoying after a while because it just will keep repeating for infinity. It makes me actually want to leave the page or go to another part of the page so I don't have to see it anymore. Um, but we're not done with that part of the page yet, so gonna have to deal with it. One of the things that I thought was rather odd about the site was that they just couldn't seem to decide on what they wanted to do with hover buttons. So, for example, okay, take a look at this login button up here. All right, well, I could tell that it's a button, but it's kind of interesting how, it's the body of the button is white and the background for that section of the web page is white. And I don't know. To that, it sort of steals the feeling of it as a button for me when the body of the button and the background it's on match. And then when I hover over it, it's even more interesting. It no longer seems to be a button with an outline, but it's almost a completely different sort of style going on here. Now, when I hover over a button, I expect it to somehow become more bold, whether in color choice or whatnot. And here, it's doesn't. I wouldn't expect a highlighted button to do that. Now, there's nothing wrong with the button being white. Here, it actually makes sense. Where I say "Learn more," boom. Okay, well, even though it's a white background, at least it's on orange, so it is becoming more prominent. Um, but you're probably thinking, it's enough about buttons, Randy. Fair enough. So, another thing that I thought was interesting about their approach was that you actually have multiple buttons on this page that are all going to lead to the same place. Now, what struck me first was this free trial option. Of course, I wanted a trial, so I was looking for the word trial. It was right at the top, and that's what I noticed. Now, if you notice the left hand corner of this screen, it shows that this is going to take me to the plan's pricing screen. See, in the lower left hand corner, you can see the actual place that this will take us. Well, it also this is a differently named link that will also take us to there. All right, and this button will also take us to there. I wouldn't be surprised if I find a few more places where that occurs. I don't think it's necessarily a bad idea because some people might be looking for the words plans and pricing and others for the word trial. And so I actually kind of thought that that was clever. I'm not going to feel like I didn't end up where I belonged when I get there. All right. So, learn more. I wasn't quite sure what that was going to take me to. Because if I want to learn more, I almost would have thought I would just like scroll down and learn more. Um, Integrate, consolidate, accelerate. Okay, I feel like I'm learning more. So, what the heck happens if I click learn more? All right. Feedback challenge. Okay. Now, the first time I saw this page, I was a little bit like, you know, I don't know. It just didn't really feel like what I expected to sort of see on this. Um, I don't even know why this page exists. I kind of just feel like on the homepage, I could have just sort of, I don't know, kept scrolling down, or maybe that would have, this stuff would have been on the homepage. I don't know. So going into this, if I say start a free trial, suddenly the style of the whole thing looks a bit different. Um, this whole section here, I don't know, it doesn't really seem to fit a style from the rest of the page. So, when as a customer, I'm sort of interested when I get down to this part, right? And so I think that they could make this look a little nicer. These things just look clunky. It's really curious to me how this rectangle sort of goes down here. It's a white on white rectangle. And then this orange one, this doesn't go down further. I don't know. It's kind of an odd choice. This part just is not working for me. I would probably just redesign this top part here and condense it, because a customer, I think, really wants to say, oh, I wanted the pricing. I want to start a trial. Okay, take me there. I think they're going to be a lot more interested once they get to this part, right? Now, I was a little surprised because I had heard that there was a free version of this, and yet I don't see a free version of that. And so immediately, sort of that, I'm like, what is going on here? And so, scrolling down further, I noticed that there's a whole other grid. And I think this is a very curious choice that it's like they couldn't decide on one, and so they just throw in both plan comparison charts. Um, yeah, I mean, I think, I would combine these two and take sort of the best of both worlds. I mean, this feels more of a marketing feel, right? And this has more of a, hey, let's get into the details so that you know what the features are that you're purchasing feel. And here there's a column for, oh, hey, I want to go ahead and, get a free account, and it shows me what is or isn't included in that. All right. Now, frankly, I like the comparison approach that they take up here between the different plans. Do you see how they do this? Everything in Collaborator Plus, right? And then, they're showing you just the differences, right? Whereas I have a harder time reading a chart like this. It just gets to be like, I mean, these checkboxes are so far away, and I don't know. You're just seeing a lot of stuff on the screen, and I like this more compact view to say, oh, why would I get the professional version? Oh, yeah, I want to be able to do file uploads. It jumps out a lot more quickly at me. So, I feel like maybe there should be some mechanism where people can drill into, really finite detail if they want to see it this way. I'm sure that they've done surveys on it, right? But it's sort of odd that on this page that they sort of couldn't just decide on one comparison chart and stick with it. Now, what happens if I say, and more? Okay, wait. So all and more does is slide me down to the plan comparison section, which this does look like a plan comparison section. So, yeah, I don't know. I would say that I do like the way that these buttons are working, although they're inconsistent with some of the other buttons on the site. When I hover over a button, it really feels like it becomes more prominent. There's no doubt in my mind which one is like lighting up. But, again, I don't know why in other parts of the page they're going with totally different styles where the button almost disappears when you hover over it. Here I go about the buttons again. But there is another thing that I thought was interesting is they do have tooltips on the website. And, I think that was helpful. Some of these definitions were more helpful than others. I noticed this one and I thought, geez, if somebody doesn't know what the piping is, they keep talking about piping in the definition of it. And I'm like, you're not going to make it clear what piping is if you keep saying it's this type of piping and that type of piping. And so I would be curious if some of these are in need of a better way to explain what those features are to sell them. All right, so going on through this process, I would say I would want to start a trial. Now, I think that this one probably fits me the most, at least for my trial purposes, because I want to be able to do some of those branching and piping options, right? So I'm going to say, start my free trial. Now, what I really did appreciate about this whole process was that they did not at any point require a credit card from me. I have had services where they say, oh, it's just a trial. Come on and sign up. And then you do, and then you miss the cutoff date, and then you get billed for another month. And you're like, oh, great. I like that they went about it this way because some of these plans are pretty expensive, and somebody's not going to be happy if they signed up for a trial and then they get dinged. And so I think that is a better way to go for a trial, right? So going through this, I would say another problem that I had when I was filling out this form was that these required fields, they weren't quite prominent enough. Yes, I could see that these were all good. Um, but it was interesting. When I went down to say start a free trial, I hadn't checked either one of these boxes. And I don't know. Like this little, I was looking at all the fields up above, and I was like, what did I not fill out? It didn't really tell me what I didn't fill out at the time. Um, but like, I don't know. I would want to make maybe this a little more prominent, or if somebody didn't fill out a field, perhaps, you know, direct the user to the field that they didn't fill out. All right. All right. So this is probably, oh, there is one more odd thing that I noticed. The features overview. Now, this part just seems to be broken. So take a look at this. If you have something here and you say, take me to the quotas. Do you see the word quotas here? Are we in the quota section? No. The quota section is all, where the heck? Oh, they're down here. If we choose something else and we say, oh, hey, take me to the add-ons. Do you see add-ons? I don't see add-ons. I mean, this is peculiar. And so, I mean, this just appears to be a glitch with the website where they don't have some of those placeholders in place. But the only reason I'm bringing this up, not because it adds too much confusion to me, but it's like, okay, if you're going to have more and more features and doodads in your site, you're going to have to make sure that they work and that you have all the tests in place to make sure that those links are still taking you to where they, you know, are supposed to. And so if you can't do that testing, then, you know, maybe simplify your page a little bit more. But, you know, this part just certainly does not seem to be working at all. And that's, of course, not a great impression. Now, I am sure that when I get into this trial, I am going to have a different experience. And I hear that it is a very good tool to work with for surveys, and I'm looking forward to it. And I hope that this sort of just helps look at some of these processes in a different way. And so in summary, some of the things that I have brought up are consistent uses of styles. This section feels like a very different style. The hover buttons were all over the place as far as what they were going to turn into when I hovered over them. If you're going to have more features on a website, such as some kind of bookmark links, then you're going to have to make sure you have tests in place that they are still working as you'd expect. And I would say that customers do appreciate it if you have a trial and that they are not going to be billed if they forget to cancel that trial. I know that some folks with app purchases, they want to get you hooked on the free app and then somehow get you billed. I think that ethically a better way to go is to, not try to trick somebody into the plan. Just if they want a trial, give them a trial. If you want to limit it in some ways, do that. But I don't think you're going to get any kind of happy customers if they find out that they're being billed for something that they thought was just a trial later on. All right. Till next time, this is Randy, and I'll see you around.